can make it there, I'll make it anywhere. It's up to you, New York, New York.
Yo, what's up, y'all? Check this out. You know what day it is? Tuesday. It is Salam in the building. It's the Richie X Junior Sports Podcast. Yeah. What's up, y'all? Hey, Bosco from the Bronx again. It's been a while since I've been on the show, but I want to do this little short thing commentary. We're going to talk about the WNBA. Possible death blow. What you think, people? I mean, over the past few years, WNBA has been getting a lot of headlines on and off the court. And the press is coming at them because the emergence of Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese. Of course, AJ Wilson is straight balling in Las Vegas Aces. Yes, the WNBA is being talked about amongst the male sports. However, it's getting talked about the wrong reasons. What's going on? Let's start with race. Because as we say right now with the political landscape we're in, it's like race and everything is involved. It's like race is involved with everything. Race this, race that, race this, da 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 da. We're getting away from being just regular people, but we're looking at our skin color and everything else. But anyway, with the emergence of, I should say, with the emergence of Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, yo, check this out. These girls been balling, both of them. It's like the racial lines still have once again been drawn in the sand. On one side, you have Caucasians praising Caitlin Clark, and she deserved it for all her achievements. While calling Angel Reese a thug, an unskilled player, benefiting off the fame of Caitlin Clark, and someone using their basketball game to sexualize themselves. Then on the other hand, you got the Bayou Barbie herself, Angel Reese. A lot about her going on, you know. Um, she's kind of like she's a good rebounder. She gets the game in, unless it's but she sexualized herself. And I'm a fan of the girl. Been a fan of her since Maryland, you know. But we're going to get into that. But like I said, on the other side of the Caitlin Clark argument, they say Caitlin Clark. Well, a lot of black people saying she's benefiting off of white privilege. Monica McNutt said that, which I think was a little reckless, considering she's one of those who's been pushing the WNBA, and her and Stephen A. Smith had a spat last year about it, how he didn't cover it. But then for her to say this. But anyway, they say the only thing Caitlin Clark can shoot, the only thing she can do is shoot. They feel Caitlin Clark got her fame from Angel Reese's success. Now, I've seen both rise, if we're going to talk about that. Both sides can be right. Can they? Both sides can be wrong. And I think that's one of the problems. Neither side wants to admit their fault in all of this. They both can be right. Both can be wrong. If you all follow a women's basketball, especially the WNBA, you could be the unbalanced fan who just looks at it, might pop here, pop there, check this out, check that one out. But if you are an actual fan and love the game for what it is, you know the history between these two, Caitlin Clark, and speaking of, and Angel Reese. First of all, they were never enemies. That's something the fans put out there that they were enemies. They've been going at each other for years, a long time. Going back to when Angel Reese played at Maryland. They are fierce competitors. Why is there jealousy among the fans? We are fans, we know that. And of course, we're going to have our biases. But why play race? You know, there's jealousy everywhere, no matter what sport or profession you're in. Everyday life has jealousy. Angel Reese is an interesting figure, though. I'm not going to front. I've been watching the NBA since its inception. Back when Lisa Leslie dunked, I was like, oh shit, she dunked. Okay, word. I was hyped. You had the the Houston Comets. Oh man, the Charlotte Sting. You had so many teams that are gone, but that first season of the WNBA was incredible. What happened, I don't know. And I've watched women's college basketball much longer than that, going back to the Twins and Cheryl Miller and all of them, Nancy Lieberman. Yeah, I watched all of that. And as an LSU women's basketball fan, and I've been one for quite a while, I follow Angel Reese. She's always been a rebounder and someone who can get you 10 to 15 points. In college, she was very good. I mean, no question at all. Was she great? No. But she was very good. And you could see she had the tools to get to the next level. You know, I felt she deserved her props for what she did. However, her game has regressed since being drafted by the Chicago Sky. She seems very uncoordinated. And it's as if she's just throwing up shots to get rebounds. And I know a lot of people say that. And a lot of people say I'm hating, but I'm really not hating. I watch the games. I'm being totally honest. And I do expect to get a lot of hate for my comments. But I watch the game and I know what I see. Her game has gone down immensely. She is not the player she was in college. And it's not even close. I've always said about her, stop complaining about being sexualized if you're doing things to be sexualized. Now, I know a lot of guys say, oh man, you hate. I'm not hating on her. I'm really not. You have a certain amount of time to be in these leagues. And you have to always work on your game. And what we saw rebounds last year. We did. We seen points last year. Yes, we did. But we have to really critique what we saw and stop using emotion. Use our eye. The eye test says it all. Like I said, she spends more time on social media talking about, you know, how people are hating on her and this and that rather than spending time in the gym and perfecting her craft. Now, what she does in her personal life or whatever she does, that's her business. But you can't complain about people complaining about you when you're doing things for people to complain about. Now, Caitlin Clark, phenomenal player, no question about it. In college, she was an offensive monster. I mean, she could dish the ball. And we all know she could shoot. She was dropping 40 like it was nothing. She could fire from the other side of the court, the other side of the Atlantic Ocean if she wanted to. Did Angel Reese make her famous? No. Okay, let's plump your brakes. No. That run she had when she came out of nowhere and took that Iowa team to the NCAA championship the previous year was incredible. If anything, she got humbled in defeat when they went against that LSU squad. 'Cause remember, before that, she was doing this to everybody. You can't see me. You can't see me. The Angel Reese did it to her in the championship game. That was Angel Reese's shining moment right there. That put her up there. So it wasn't Clark. It wasn't Reese that made Clark famous. That run Iowa had and LSU coming up there and knocking them off in the championship, that pushed both players up to where that final season they played, where people say, okay, they're gonna meet again. Let's see what happens. They got all the way down, but we all know South Carolina won the championship. But they played Iowa again. Great game. But still, both players were in the final four. And that's the part a lot of people don't pay attention. What I see from a lot of fans is they don't watch the games. They follow the headlines and say, okay, this is what's going on, yada, 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 yada. because I see a lot of fans talked about how Angels Reese won the MVP or whatever for the Unrivaled League. Great. Let's get some. Yeah, let's cheer for that. You know, but these same people, they talked about what she did in the championship game. Angel Reese didn't play in the championship game. And see, that tells me that people are just talking because she didn't play. She got injured like she did in the regular season. And this is not a knock on her. This is a knock on the fans who just talk, but they really don't watch the games. You know what I'm saying? And that's where some of the problems go. But anyway, let's talk about money with the WNBA. And I hate to bring up Angel Reese about this, but she's the one that the recent person who was talking about it. Okay. No matter what company you work for, if you're not generating the income, you won't receive that income. Basically, if you're not making the money, you're not going to make the money. The WNBA has been in the red since day one. The NBA has been subsidizing the league so it can stay afloat. While the WNBA will make a couple of $100 million a season, the NBA makes a few billion each season. The WNBA doesn't even make enough money to pay their bills. They play, 32 games? So it's like, how do you pay players the same amount of money the NBA players are being paid when you're not making the money to pay the players like the NBA players are being paid? You're not playing the amount of games the NBA players are playing. It's nothing like that. You're not playing. There's nothing about the game that resembles the male game except for it's just a game of basketball. But let's break it down in layman's terms. Last year, the WNBA generated $200 million. See, that's a lot of money, right? That's a lot of money. That's a lot compared to previous season. 9% of that $200 million went to the salaries of the players. You heard what I said. 9% of the $200 million that the WNBA generated went to the players. That's $18 million out of $200 million. Basically 9 cents on the dollar. Well, not exactly, but you get what I'm saying. Now, when former NBA players made suggestions to improve the game, the women shot it down. They didn't want to hear nothing from the men at all. And that's one of the problems right there. My question is this. Where are all the female feminists at these games? I say female feminists because you don't have to be a female to be a feminist. You can be a male feminist too. You know, but where are the feminists? Where's the LGBTQ? Where are all these people who tout for empowerment of women? Why aren't they at the games? They're not at the games. But they're complaining about the women not making money. They can't make money if you don't show up for the games. If you don't buy the merch, I got merch. I got a Candace Parker jersey. I got a Marion Jones jersey. I got more. I got the gear. So I've put in my support for the league. But where are they? I see just as many men at games as I see women. Why aren't the WNBA players calling out female fans, especially feminists? Why are they coming at the men to save them? Why are they blaming the men for the league failing? It's about accountability. That's something else we're not going to talk about on this show because this is not the platform for it, but it's about the accountability. You can't blame men for the failures of the league, especially when the men, the WNBA, are paying money to keep the league alive. So when the players come out and give the ultimatum stating either pay us or we're sitting out the season, the only thing they're doing is digging their own graves and finding that final nail to put in the coffin. That's what they're doing. You can't give ultimatums if you're not winning. The WNBA plays during baseball season and the UFL season. Major League Baseball has taken a few black eyes over the years, but the WNBA is going to take the biggest one. The WNBA does not want the UFL to gain steam. And when I say UFL, I'm talking about the USFL and the XFL Football League combination. They don't want the UFL to gain steam. If they would work with the NBA, I'm speaking the WNBA, the players, the female players of the WNBA, if they worked with the NBA, I'm talking about former players and active players, and stop with this is our thing, mind your business mentality, and try to grow the NBA, the legacy of the WNBA will be great. But I ask you, who has more culpability in this situation? You have to do what you have to do to sell your product. If you can't sell your product, you have no one but yourself to blame. They have to stop this. So many great players are in the WNBA, and they're bickering with everyone outside. Your war's not with us men. We're at the games. Okay, your war's not with not with the NBA. The NBA subsidizes to keep you guys afloat. The war is within yourselves. Promote the game to everyone. It's great to promote the game to little girls. Yeah, get them to where they're playing sports or whatever, and get them out the streets, get them away from being rappers who want to get butt ass naked and everything. Do that. But you want to get towards the boys too. You want a game. You want people to fill those seats. Change some of the rules. They say they don't want to drop the rim down a foot. Yes, it will be an adjustment. But that's sports. Period. It's about adjustments. One thing that makes the NBA great, exciting, are dunks. There are women who can dunk, but you don't see no spectacular dunks. You see regular two-hand dunks and just a basic one-hand dunk. Would it be nice if someone throw an alley-oop and Brittany Griner slams it, or AJ Wilson slams it, or even Angel Reese slams it? You know how much exciting that would bring to the crowd? But they don't want to hear that. You know, you have to put the work in to make the money. And I'm not saying the women are not working hard, because they are. They are. The women got mad game, but they have to realize you can't do it. You just can't. You have to market to everyone. Thank you for tuning in to Richie H.G. Sports Podcast. Please like and subscribe to the station, to the channel, to the page, to the podcast. Check us out. You know, we're not the most educated guys in sports, but we know what we know. We're a bunch of guys who getting around talking sports, and hey, we're unbiased. We're objective. It is Salam. I'm signing out, y'all. Peace, blessings, and of course, go Yankees, y'all. Appreciate y'all. Peace. Eh.